Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Joe and welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be over some of the most common and popular, well, maybe not popular is the right word, but some of the most common mistakes that noobs or new players make in Team Fortress 2 when they first start playing. Now first off, I know Spiky Mikey did two videos very similar to this in things new players do. I'm kind of going to be straying away from that and talking about more mistakes, so not necessarily just common traits that new players have, but the mistakes they make and things that we can look back on and be like, wow, what was I thinking? Why did I do that? So I actually put a tweet out asking you guys what you believe to be is like the most common mistakes and stuff like that, and I had a ton of responses. So if you want to follow me on Twitter to like keep updated with when I tweet out things like this and video ideas that I need your help with, then it's always linked down below. But yeah, you guys sent in a ton of awesome responses, and without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Now this first one was from my good mate Doomsday, and he replied saying subscribing to PyroJoe. It's fine, I didn't want to be your friend anyway. But this first one from Fred says buy him from the Manco market, and this is, I actually made a video about this before. The Manco store is quite possibly the biggest rip-off in Team Fortress 2. Like, if you compare the price of a weapon, which is like 70p, to a scrap which isn't even 1p, like it's just extortionate, lads. The Manco market prices are extortionate, and I personally have bought from there before. I remember when I started playing, I'm pretty sure I bought a Spicicle from there, and I didn't realise until I started trading that these weapons literally hold nowhere near as much value as the store says they do. So that's probably the number one that most of you guys can probably relate to. This one says not realising the sniper rifle can charge for extra damage, and I literally remember that when I started playing Team Fortress 2, I used to beforehand be big into like Call of Duty and stuff, so I was shooting these people with the sniper and I was like, yo, this sniper's awful, like it's doing no damage. And then I never really paid attention to the little charge meter for a good amount of time before I realised that, hey, the longer you zoomed in, the more damage you do. This one from R says putting exit teleporters down at spawn instead of entrances. And low-key, I hate to admit it, but I feel like I still probably do this by accident. Like, I play Engineer and MVM a lot, and I feel like that's probably where I do it. But yeah, 100%, I've noticed people do that a lot. This next one says deleting your haunted metal scrap, and this is one I relate to all too much. However, I was actually blessed enough for Valve to actually give me another haunted metal scrap. If you didn't see that video, the link will be down below. But yeah, Valve actually gave me mine back, but I 100% understand why people do this, and I think a lot of people have probably done this and completely forgot they did it. The reason I personally did it was because when I received the haunted metal scrap, I was still a free-to-play, right? I'm pretty sure that was it anyway, and my backpack space was very limited. It was only 1 or 2 pages. And I wanted to make room for all these new weapons. Little did I know all the weapons were awful, but that's besides the point. I wanted to make room for all these new items, and one item slot out of 50 or one item slot out of 100 was being taken up by a haunted metal scrap. And at the time, I didn't just have the refined and other items needed to craft a horseless, headless horseman's head taker, so I thought, hey, I may as well just delete this thing. Little did I know that 4 years down the line, I'd be wanting that haunted metal scrap to be crafting one, and lo and behold, Valve gave me one back. And now I finally have my horseless, headless horseman's head taker. This next one says trying to no-scope with the Machina, and when I first used the Machina, I was trying to no-scope with it, and I saw the little sparks coming out, and I was like, this is an awful sniper, you can't even no-scope with it. And didn't touch it again for about 2 or 3 years, so that's one I relate to all too much once again. Also guys, let me know down in the comments below if you're relating to any of these, or if any of these have happened to your friends or anything like that, because I think that's like the main goal of this video, is to like see if you guys are kind of like relating to them and if this was like a common thing that happened to new players. This next one says assuming any item is better than stock, and that's such a logical assumption to make. I didn't even like presume this, but literally, like, you're playing TF2, you get a brand new item drop, you get this flashy new item, you think, wow, look at the colours, it must be amazing, and little do you find out that it really isn't much. It's really, in fact, worse than the weapon you were using before, but because it's a different item that isn't stock, it must be a direct upgrade, but that's not how Team Fortress 2 works. It's very unforgiving for new players. You see those flashy colours, they don't do anything. This one says not crouch jumping while attempting to rocket jump, And literally, if you go back and watch my Learning to Rocket Jump series, I did exactly that. When I was first learning how to rocket jump, I didn't crouch and I was wondering like why wasn't I getting the height, why wasn't I getting the speed? And someone enlightened me to crouching and also binding my shift key to crouching. And since finding out this useful information, my life was drastically improved. But I still can't really rocket jump, so it didn't help me too much. Thinking Spy is broken AF. And literally, I used to think this for a solid, I'd say my first 100 or so hours. I used to think the Spy was so overpowered. Like, the fact he can just kill you in one hit. Like, how is that fair? And the Spy used to get me angrier than any other class in the game would. I can't describe the hatred I had for the Spy. And I'm sorry, Spy, don't get me wrong, I understand it now, but back in the day when I was just a clueless, gibbous sniper who didn't really know how to scope in or charge his shots, but I was trying my best and I was still getting backstabbed, it wasn't great times for me. This one says maining SMG sniper. And I used to think the SMG was really good. I mean, it had an Australium. If it has a golden gun, it's got to be good, right? Valve only give golden guns to the elite weapons in the game. So I thought, hey, the SMG's got to be a great weapon. But it doesn't get a lot of damage in. And you may as well, if you want to use an SMG or a machine gun, just go heavy. It probably does a bit more damage. This one's really interesting. It says, thinking that they would go higher if they use all 8 stickies to do a sticky jump. And I must admit, there is a lot of PyroJoe corpses lying around some maps somewhere from where I've put a bunch of stickies on the floor, assuming it will just launch me into orbit, but it didn't work. You just blow up and die. So I learnt the hard way, and I'm sure a lot of you guys did as well. This one says, I tried to paint my scattergun to make it Australian once. And I don't even see any flaws with this logic. Like, literally, it's Australian gold paint. You put it on your one refined scattergun and bam, you've got a 30 key item. Like, I do understand the logic though. It's called Australian gold. It's an Australian scattergun. Like, yeah, man, it makes perfect sense. This is one I actually came up with in the initial tweet. And it's essentially thinking that in Team Fortress 2, the item levels change the item. So, for example, a level 1 item will be much less powerful, much less impactful than like a level 100 item. And I actually had someone comment on my video which sparked off this whole idea. I received a comment on my video saying what do item levels do, and it got me thinking, like, there's a lot of things like this that, you know, people maybe aren't aware of. So yeah, in case you didn't know, item levels literally do nothing. They make no difference aesthetically, they make no difference in game. They're just random, and that's why people collect random item levels, I guess, because there's like a small chance of it being a specific number. And yeah, I used to think, like, if I had a hat that's a certain level, like, it would do more. I could wear it on different classes or something like that. So I don't know what Valve were really thinking with the item level system, because it's completely pointless. But yeah, that's got to be up there. This one is wasting paint on your Ghastly Gibber. So, and I know, you know, maybe a lot of people don't regret this. Maybe a lot of people are loving their dark green painted gibbous. But some people maybe, when they first got the game, they received like a gift stuffed stocking or something and received an untradeable paint in it. And the only hat they have at the time is like a gibbous. So they thought, hey, if I'm wearing the gibbous anyway and I'm going to be wearing this thing for the rest of my Team Fortress 2 career, why don't I paint it and make it a really cool gold or a really cool green? Little do they know that in a few months' time, if they carry on playing the game and maybe get into trading a bit, maybe get into the Team Fortress 2 scene a little bit more, that they could acquire a hat that perhaps isn't untradeable, isn't a gibbous, and can most likely be used in the future. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people out there that started playing Team Fortress 2 and 5 years later are still wearing their gibbous. Like, I just don't think it happens. But yeah, using your paint on a gibbous or any item like that has got to be up there for me. But guys, that's just about it for this video. If you did enjoy, then please do remember to leave a like and let me know your thoughts down below. If this video does go down well in terms of likes and comments and stuff, then I will make a part 2. So if you have any suggestions of maybe things that were left out of this video that you'd like to see me talk about in the next video, then leave them down in the comments and I may even include it in the next video in like a full screenshot. So yeah, you can appear in a video, I guess. Guys, thank you all so much for watching once again. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and peace. I don't